Okay, this is just a review over some problems that we should kind of know how to do. I want you to look at this. We're solving the equation negative 3x to the second power plus 30x equals 0. So you need to list how many answers for the variable there are for the variable and what the power is to. Okay, so that's how you do that. You see x second, so there'd be 2 answers. Okay. Now you see x to the second, this x here would be to the first. So since we have those 2 things, we are going to have to factor. Now you need to make sure you're equal to 0. You're equal to 0, slash on the other side. Now count how many terms you have. You're either going to have 2 terms or 3 terms. Looks to me like there's only 2, okay? So, I mean the 2 slots. So if there's only 2, you just go to GCF, and then that'll get you where you need to be over here. So please remember your rules for the GCF. Do you have an X on the end there? Yes. Do you have a negative in front here? Yes. 3 and 30, okay? On the multiplication table, okay, let me get one here. You look up where 3 and 30 are at. They're in the 3rd row. There's 30, so it'd be in row 3. So negative 3x is your GCF. Then we're going to put that in a parentheses, okay? And then we're going to come up here and we're going to divide by negative 3x. Okay, so negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. Now the x second divided by the x. That leaves us with just x. Then I take 30, positive 30 divided by negative 3, it gives me negative 10, so it would be minus 10. And then I would divide the x by the x. Well, that cancels completely, okay? Now we line up these parentheses over here, negative 3x and 1x minus 10, okay? Okay, and then that's our F1 and that's our F2. So F1, negative 3x could equal 0. F2, 1x minus 10 could equal 0. So you divide by negative 3 here. X would equal 0. Then over here, you got times 1 minus 10. You'd add plus 10. 0 plus 10 is 10. Then we divide both sides by 1. 10 divided by 1 is 10, so x is equal to 10. 0 and 10. Okay, my next problem, we have 1x to the second minus 2x minus 24 equals 0. So how many answers for the variable and what power is it to? Well, there's 2 answers. Okay. It's x to the second, and we've also got x to the first. So we have to factor. So when factoring, you need 0 on one side of the equals. Okay, you're there, you're set. So slash the other side. Now count how many terms you have. 3. 2 terms is known as a binomial. 3 terms is known as a trinomial. So this has 3 terms. It's a trinomial. So we go GCF. But then we need to take it one step further and make that chart, the factor pairing chart. So same thing, and then the line. So I do not have x on the last term, so don't put x there. I do not have a negative in the front. Then 1, 2, and 24. that would just be 1, because 1's the only row that 1's in. If the GCF's 1, see up here is negative 3x, so I went up and divided. Now if it's 1, you just don't do it. You just write no or something, just don't do that. Now, we go to our chart. Remember, A is your x second, B is your x, C. And then to find the top number, you take A times C, okay? A times C, so just the numbers though, I don't worry about the variables. 1 times negative 24 is negative 24. Okay, so negative is a mismatch. So it's a mismatch, you put positive, negative. Then you divide, okay? So start dividing. Oh yeah, we probably better know what we're adding to, huh? You are adding to whatever the B is, which is negative 2. Okay. $1.24. So add those. I don't believe that's negative 2. Okay. 24 divided by 2, 212. Negative 10, no. After 2 comes 3. 24 divided by 3, 8. So I put 3, 8. The number I divided by and the answer I got, that forms your factor pair. 3 plus negative 8, negative 5, no. Now, after 3 comes 4. 24 divided by 4, 4 and 6. Okay, so I add 4 to negative 6, and that's it, negative 2. Okay. All right, now I make my parentheses. Okay, so I put plus 4 minus 6. And the A x sec is your x to the second multiplied by 1. So we break the x to the second into x times x, okay? So x, x, and then we apply a 1 in front, and those are the two factors. So this is now, so I take 1x plus 4, 1x minus 6 equals 0, and then that's how I get my f1, f2, okay? So 1x plus 4 could equal 0, or 1x minus 6 could equal 0. So minus 4, we get negative 4. Divide by 1, that would be negative 4. Okay. By the way, if you have a dot as 1, you can get rid of it and just add 6. If it's a 1. X is 6. Negative 4 and 6. Okay, next problem. Negative 14x to the second power plus 16x equals 0. So we have two answers. We have x to the second and we have x to the first. So we need to factor. Okay. So equals 0. Now count how many terms you have. 1, 2. Okay, so 2 terms. 2 terms is just going to the GCF. So you have x on the end. You have a negative in the front. And then 14 and 16. There's 14 and 16, it's in 2's row. So you put a 2 there. Now when you divide, I want to see the x out there, I want to see the negative out there, then you go up and divide by negative 2x. Okay? So that's positive 7, x second divided by x. Okay? So it'd be x. 16 divided by negative 2 is negative 8, so minus 8, and then x divided by x would just cancel. Okay? So That's what we have, negative 2x, and then 7x minus 8. Okay, so F1, F2. So negative 2x could equal 0, or 7x minus 8 could equal 0. So we have the times right there, so we just divide by negative 2 on that one, and x would equal 0. Now over here, we have 7 times x, but we have the minus 8. We got to get rid of that. You can't cross out the 7. It's not a 1. You need to then divide by 7. Okay. Now you can do 8 over 7. You could leave it like that. You could divide and put the decimal. It'd be 1.14. Okay, just round it off. Put first two digits after it. Or you can get that answer and go second PRB, and it would be 1 and 1/7. Pick one or the other. I don't care which one. You can even leave it as 8 over 7. Okay, next problem. X to the second power minus 11x plus 24 equals 0. So there's two answers. We have x to the second and we have x. So we need to factor. Okay. So equals 0. You're there. You're set. Slash the other side and count the terms. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 3 terms, GCF in the table. Okay, do you have x on the end? No. Do you have negative in front? Absolutely not. Okay, you check the ends for x there. If it's not there, don't put it. Negative here, if it's not there, don't put it here. 1, 11, 24. That'd just be 1. So if all you have is a 1, you don't go up and divide by it. You just put no. Okay. A, B, C. 1 times 24. You're taking them times. Is 24. So it's positive 24. Since it's positive, that's a match. So put 2 signs that match. Okay. Then you add to whatever my b is. My b is negative 11. Whatever's between the 1 and the 24. Negative 11. So I start dividing. 24 divided by 1. 20. So I put 1, 24. Does that add to negative 11? I don't think so. Okay. Now do 2. 2, 12. Negative 2 plus negative 12 is negative 14. 24 divided by 3. 3, 8. You add negative 11. That's it. Okay. So A is 1x to the second. Remember that. Okay. So after you put in your minus 3 or minus 8, you take that x second and rewrite it as x times x, and then the 1, 1, 1. Okay. So you got 1x minus 3 and 1x minus 8 equals 0. So F1, F2. Okay, so times, take out your minus 3 with plus 3. You can get rid of the 1 if that's your dot number. X equals 3. Again, you can get rid of the 1 if that's your dot number. Then plus 8, x equals 8. 3 and 8. Okay, 40x to the second minus 20x equals 0. So we have two answers. And we have x to the second. We also have x to the first. Okay, so we are factoring. Now you make sure you're equal to 0. You are your set. And you count your terms. there's 2, so it's a binomial. So 2 terms, all I've taught you is the GCF. So you have an x on the end, so you don't make that t box, you have x on the end. You do not have the negative in the front. Now 40 and 20. So let's look bottom up. Here's 20 for the first 40 there, so it'd be 20x. So then I need to do this. I'm going to divide by 20x. 40 divided by 20 is 2. X second divided by x. So that would be x. Negative 20 divided by 20, and that's negative 1. So that would be minus 1. And then I take x divided by x, which just cancels. Okay, so those are my factors. 20x, 2x minus 1 equals 0. So F1, F2. So 20x could equal 0, or 2x minus 1 could equal 0. So we're going to be dividing by 20 here. 0 divided by 20 is 0. Now over here, you got times 2. You need to take out your minus 1 with a plus 1. 2 times x equals 1. Then you divide by 2. 1 divided by 2, 0.5. You can write that. Or you can second PRB and it goes to 1/2. Either pick the decimal or the fraction. I don't care which one. Okay, x to the third power plus 3x minus 54 equals 0. So we have 2 answers. We have x to the second. We have x to the first. So we have to factor. So 0's there, you're set. How many? Count the terms on the other side. We have x second, x constant. That's 3 terms. So it's a trinomial Gcf table. And you will be setting this up if you hope to achieve this. Okay, so the last term does not have x, so don't put that there. The first term in the front does not have a negative, so don't put that there. 1, 3, and 54. Well, the only place 1 appears is 1, so it'd be 1. So if it's a 1, it's a no-go. Okay, don't do that. So A, B, C. So we take positive 1 times negative 54. Negative 54. Now this is a negative, so if I got a negative, that's a mismatch. Okay? Mismatch means we have a positive and a negative. It's like the opposites. So add, you're trying to add to positive 3. Okay? So 54 divided by 1 is 54. 1 plus negative 54, none. Now 54 divided by 2 is 27, so I put 227. No. Now 3, 54 divided by 3, 18, so I put 3, 18. No. 54 divided by 4, decimal, so skip it. 54 divided by 5, decimal, skip it. 54, you're always going to back up to 54. 54 divided by 6 is 9. Okay, so I take 6 plus negative 9. Now you can stop dividing, okay, because you have the right number. You just need to make it into positive 3, which you do by making both of them opposite. So positive, negative. Now, negative 6 plus 9 is 3. Okay, so I put in my parentheses, minus 6 plus 9. Now the a, look all the way at your a, x second with 1. So x second now goes to x, and then 1, 1. So you have 1x minus 6, and then 1x plus 9. So F1, F2. So 1x minus 6 could equal 0, or 1x plus 9 could equal 0. Now if your dot number's a 1, you can take it off. So plus 6, and that equals 6. Dot number's a 1, you can take it off and just minus 9, and x equals negative 9. Okay, negative 15x to the second power plus 45x equals 0. So we have two answers, and we have x to the second, we have x to the first. We are factoring, okay? So there's 0, you're set. How many terms do we have on this other side? Well, we have the x second, we have the x, but we don't have the constant, so that's only 2 terms. So GCF. And then I see if I have a difference of perfect squares. Or no, what was I saying? Just GCF. I know, whoa. Just GCF. I'm sorry. GCF is all you need for 2 terms. You have x on the end. Forget about what I just said there. Just GCF gets you where you need to be. So you have x on the end. You do have a negative in the front. And now you look up 15 and 45. 15, 45, so they're in row 15. And you go up and divide by negative 15x. So that would be positive 1. X second divided by x is x. 45 divided by negative 15 is negative 3. And then x divided by x just cancels. So now I have negative 15x, and then 1x minus 3. So F1, F2. So negative 15x could equal 0, or 1x minus 3 could equal 0. So divide by negative 15, and 0 divided by negative 15 is 0. Okay. You can take the 1 off if that's your dot. Plus 3, x would equal 3. If you take if it's a 1, you get rid of it and it's not as long. Okay, x to the second power plus 12x plus 35 equals 0. The reason you're able to get rid of that because if you kept it there, you just divide by 1. 3 divided by 1 is 3. So we have x to the second, and we have x to the first. We are factoring then, if that's the case. So you're set. Now what do you have for your terms? Well, you have the 1x to the second, you got the 12x, and the constant 35. So that's 3 terms. GCF, and then you have to go to your table. Okay, I am not seeing an x on the end, so I don't put it. I don't see a negative in front, I don't put it. 1, 12, and 35. All 3 of those would have to, well, the only row 1's in is 1. Okay, so 1 is your GCF, which means no, don't do that. Okay, A, B, C. So positive 1 times positive 35, that's positive 35, okay? So that's a match. So just put negative, negative to match. you are adding to whatever the b is, which is positive 12. Okay? So I start dividing. 35 divided by 1 is 35, so I put 1 and 35. No. Then 2. Decimal. 3 decimal. 4 is a decimal, be patient. 5, 7. 5 goes with 7. Now I add those two. I got, okay, stop dividing because you're at the right place. You just got to make it into a positive 12, which you do by switching both of the factors, both of them, to their opposite value. Positive, positive. Okay? So I make my parentheses with the plus 5, the plus 7. Now, because this times this is the c, this times this is your a, 1x to the second. Okay? So x second is x, x, and then 1, 1. Okay? So this is rewritten as 1x plus 5, 1x plus 7 equals 0. F1, F2. Okay. So minus 5, it's going to be negative 5. Or you can take the 1 away. Just take the 1 away. So having a multiplying number of 1, get it out of there. Negative 5. Because dividing by 1 is just an extra step that doesn't change anything. Okay. If the multiplier is a 1, you can take it away. Minus 7, minus 7. 0 minus 7 would give me negative 7.